Sometimes your life is at a crossroads and you sense that you need a change, you know you need a change, but you may not be completely sure of how to get it or what is it that you need. Or maybe you just wanted something to happen in the last year that is now over and you did not get it, and some part of your mind may be intellectualizing that in any case you don't deserve that, you will not succeed, and it is just not for you. So we are going to see right here how to update the image you have of yourself, your self-image, if something has been stuck for a while, maybe based on false, old assumptions about who you should be, and that may not be true anymore, that may not be you anymore. Maybe you are in the middle of changing your job or changing some relationships, and it may be confusing for you. We are going to see how to assemble all of that together, and if there is some big shift or some big change you are really compelled to develop right now in this current year to come, we are going to see how to update all of your internal representation of yourself so that you get it as smoothly as possible. Obviously, we are going to discuss, affirmations and vision boards, and I guess everyone watching this is aware of what affirmations and vision boards are about, and it is not really about using them, it is about how you use them. It is not that it works or it doesn't work, it is which specific problem are you targeting when using that tool. How did you define what you need to change, and are you willing to keep adapting that down the road as you evolve? Because many times, if you have been setting the right affirmation, something that is extremely specific to your situation and not just a generic "I am happy and I feel the well-being around me," this is way too general. Usually what you need is an affirmation that is the exact counter opposite to the main critical mental blockage you have right now. So if your main problem is not that your business is not successful, for example, but that you are not organized enough during your day-to-day basis, if the affirmation then becomes I am perfectly organized every day from the moment I wake up, that is a great one, and rehearsing that one will require maybe 1 week, 2 weeks before you get to the next thing, because that one will be handled. That is how fast it is supposed to go when you select the right affirmation and when you select the right direction for your mind. And finally, the last thing to use that correctly before going on to the process is to aim at a character, at becoming a character, the new version of the next version of yourself, rather than thinking about achievements, accomplishments, external metrics of success. Those things will just be an endless wheel of misery. You will never have enough, because every time you get one of those, you reach the next money milestone, or you reach the next big car, whatever, it will just give gratification for a very short period of time, and then your mind will go back to what is lacking right now in my life that I need to fulfill. So it is an endless loop of misery, whereas setting your mind on who are you becoming and developing the personality traits, the characteristics of the person you want to become, is a much healthier way, in my opinion, to use a vision board or change your self-image or get to any sort of positive goals for the year to come. And also, what does that person, the one you are becoming, what kind of experiences does that person live on a day-to-day basis? More than external things like a bigger house, whatever, what are the types of experiences that person you want to become is living on a day-to-day basis, and what kind of feelings do they get from that? Because it is going to be the first point of our session here. It is to create a vision board. You probably know how to do that. You just take pictures, you cut them and you put them on a wall somewhere or on a board somewhere. Everyone knows about that. But the idea is to select images, therefore, that have traits to you that are appealing only for you, it's only purely subjective, that are appealing to the next version of who you are becoming. You may use movie characters if that triggers in your mind some positive feelings, or you can right away insert metaphoric images of things that trigger the kind of feelings you want to feel more of in that lifestyle thing you are developing right now. Images, representations of feelings you want to get more of, because the more you get reminded of that, the easier it will be to find counterintuitive roads to get those more often and more easily. And you can just elaborate on images that evocate that. The person you are becoming, what kind of experiences does that person live on a day-to-day basis, and what feelings does he or she get out of this? You make your vision board based on that specifically. Then we are going to shape your mind to activate all sorts of neurological resources to help you get there, and you may write those down and answer those by writing down too, because writing is fortifying connections in the brain in many different ways. So the first question is, if, that's a reframing thing, if what stops me from getting there was only in my mind, what would it be? So if you were presupposing, even if I know the place you live into may be trash, you may hate the people you are at work with, whatever is the external thing you think is responsible for your negative feelings, whatever they are, let's presuppose for a minute, for the sake of this little funny exercise, let's presuppose that the only reason you are not that character you have defined is only in your mind. If it was only a mental blockage, if nothing else was preventing you than what is already held in your mind, then how would you define that? I am not whatever enough, I complain about whatever, I hate this, I have a problem with feeling this and that. Whatever it is, what is the way you would express what is blocking you, stopping you right now from becoming that if it was only in your mind? The next question to, reassure maybe your conscious defenses that may be triggered about, yeah, but I don't want to change this because this is who I am, this is how I am, blah, blah. You may ask, what negative experiences, situations, or people led me to believe in those limitations, to believe that those limitations are true, that I am not artistic, I am not creative, I am not a money maker, or like I cannot make more money, I am not good enough with words, I don't have a fast enough brain to use a sleight of mouth. The one I'm talking to will recognize himself. And you can just elaborate how those limitations were built. That way we give credit to the fact that those limitations happened for a reason. It was there for protecting you, obviously, otherwise they would not be there. And we want to start from a healthy foundation where you respect who you have been so far. It's not about destroying the old version of yourself, which will create resistance. It's about respect, giving credit and respect to who you have been so far, and letting your mind understand that now it can also be time to move on. Maybe a phase of your life is over and it can be time to move on. Therefore, next step, if I was completely free from those assumptions and limitations, what would I think about myself today? So what different ways of explaining how you feel on a day-to-day basis, of explaining what your personality traits are, of explaining who you are from deep down, the way you would explain who you are and who you are aimed at becoming, how would you describe that if you were completely free of all those negative emotional baggage, of all those trouble, those pain, those sufferings that have been shaping a version of you that maybe is not really that fulfilled inside? If all of that was healed, taken care of, over, it is done, it is in the back of your mind, in a secure space, comfort, it is healed, whatever, then how would you describe how you are and how you feel and who you are? Because those things you are going to describe at this specific question can become affirmations. Something I used to do in the past also was literally something like this, elaborating affirmations based on a process similar to this one, and actually printing the affirmations and sticking them on my vision board. That way I was constantly reminded of the kinds of beliefs and assumptions I want to develop about myself, about the way I want to present myself in the world. And last question, if that new self-image was already true and solidified. Solidified is appealing to submodalities. You may use other adjectives like a clear, resonant, firm, grounded, whatever. Just if it was already true and solidified, what would I immediately let go of in my life? It may be something internal. You may need to let go of something you hold inside, or like a limitation or a fear of something, or something external. Maybe some relationships that don't really serve you anymore as much as they used to. Maybe some job you want to quit and you don't allow yourself to quit because you don't think you deserve to do something you really love because you're not good enough, whatever it is. Just if that new character, that new version of yourself that you're developing was already there, had already been there in yourself, this is already who you are basically from deep down, then in that context, in that scenario, what is the main thing you would immediately let go of and drop from your current life? Something maybe you say to yourself, you keep telling, maybe a negative story you keep telling to yourself about your life, about what happened to you, about the misery that happened to you, something about the world, oh, the world is bad, economics, or like the climate, whatever is the story you tell yourself. Maybe something needs an update in the way you explain why your life is fucked, why you don't get this, why you don't. Maybe some negative old story needs to be updated, or maybe it is literally something physical. Maybe you need to change the place you live into. Maybe you need to change some friendships. Whatever it is, there is one main thing you could do to start shaping your mind more and more into that next identity, next version of your identity that you are legitimately compelled to become right now. That is all for this video. You can find some more resources down below in the description. And with that in mind, keep advancing on your goals. I'm with you. Ask me questions if you have some in the comment section. And I will see you pretty soon in the next video.